So this is the Polar 65 from the company Arbiter Studios, and if you are in the peripheral community, you have probably seen this keyboard all over Twitter, and that is for a good reason. Like every other keyboard that is releasing into the market this year, it does have Hall effect switches, enabling the rapid trigger feature that a lot of people love and gravitate towards. On first glance, you can just tell this keyboard is quality, from the aluminum case to the double shot PBT keycaps. If you are in the market for a new keyboard that has rapid trigger, and you just want something that feels a little bit more premium than the Wooting, then this keyboard might be for you. The Polar 65 features a semi-aluminum case. The frame of the keyboard is aluminum, while the backside is polycarbonate, allowing for the RGB on the keyboard to bounce onto your desk. As for the quality for the rest of the keyboard, you are pretty much getting everything higher end keyboards have, such as loop stabilizers and switches right out of the box, so you don't have to manually loop your switches like with the Wooting. The keycaps included with this board are pretty nice. They are double shot PBT, so overall durability of the keycaps should be top notch. So shining of the keys should happen way slower when compared to ABS keycaps. The keycaps are using a KOP profile, which just means the top of the keycaps have more surface area when compared to something like a cherry style keycap. The difference is very small, but when comparing a cherry keycap to a KOP keycap, it's definitely a nice feature that I didn't know I needed. As you can see, the Polar 65 is in the 65% layout, so it's going to be perfect for gamers who don't want to lose the arrow keys, but still keep that slim profile of a 60% keyboard. With the 65% layout, you are also getting some more keys on the right side of the board, which do come in very handy. I usually use these keys for things like muting my microphone in Discord or saving a replay in OBS. To bring the rapid trigger feature to life, the Polar 65 is using the Fuji magnetic switches, which is pretty much a rehoused Gateron switch, which means you can switch out the switches for any Hall effect switch that does have the 2 pins at the bottom of the switch. As for the specs of the switch, the initial force is 36 grams and the end force is 60 grams. The actuation goes from 0.1 millimeters all the way to 3.8 millimeters. And the total travel of the switch is 4 millimeters. And right out of the box, they are factory looped. So how do these switches feel in game? Well, first, let's start off with what and how the adjustable actuation should feel like. It's very hard to explain unless you are physically trying the keyboard, but just imagine the keyboard is a true extension of your hand. Unlike other keyboards where you have to bottom out the whole switch for it to actuate and make an input on the screen, with the adjustable actuation, that input is practically instant, especially if you have it at the highest sensitivity like I do. Push down your finger slightly and that input is registered instantly. With traditional keyboards with normal switches, you would have to wait for the switch to come all the way to the top for it to reset, while with rapid trigger that reset period is practically instant. As an example, I have booted up Overwatch, and also on screen there is a visual indicator so you can see when a switch is being actuated or reset. So let's first start off with the adjustable actuation. It goes all the way from 0.1 all the way to 3.8 millimeters. I currently have it set at 0.1 millimeters. So at 0.1 millimeters, I practically only have to tap the key very lightly and it's already sending an input. As an example of rapid trigger, I'm going to move to the right and slightly raise my finger off the key and it's already going to be resetting. With traditional keyboards, you'd have to raise the key all the way to the top for it to reset. But with rapid trigger, you only have to raise up the key slightly for it to reset, and right after that, you can put in another input. So in total, it's just going to make your movement feel very snappy and kind of quick. And it's also going to be less fatiguing at the end of the day as you're not pushing down the full force of the switch. And the actuation point and the rapid trigger reset is all adjustable in the software. Just like the Wooting, the Polar 65 does have a web interface that you can use to change the rapid trigger settings and all of the lighting, with the option of changing keybinds and macros in a later update. On the main page, you're going to find everything related to rapid trigger and the actuation. So if you want your switches to actuate at 1 millimeter, then reset when you release the switch by 0.1 millimeters, you can all set it up with the 2 sliders on this page. You also do have the option to turn off rapid trigger completely, but I do not see the point of this at all because the whole point of the board is the rapid trigger feature. I have been running this keyboard at 0.1 millimeters for the actuation and then the same for the rapid trigger reset, and never ran into any issues with accidental key presses or the keys randomly actuating, resulting in double inputs like I have experienced with the Drunk Deer keyboards. And of course, in the WebDriver, you can change all of the lighting settings for the board with a ton of effects. One thing I would like to see added to this board is turbo mode from the Drunk Deer boards or tachyon mode from the Wooting. The keyboard is already plenty fast, but I would love to see it become even faster in the future. So how does this keyboard feel like for day-to-day use outside of gaming? Well, surprisingly very good. Compared to the stock Wooting that felt kind of cheap in terms of the build quality and the overall sound quality, the Polar 65 is a huge step up. Like I mentioned before, all the switches and stabilizers are lubed, and then combining that with the sound dampening foam inside the keyboard, it makes for a very nice smooth typing experience with a very poppy sound signature. If you are someone that values quality while also looking to level up your playing experience, then this is one of the best keyboards you can currently buy. The Polar 65 does go on sale very often. The keyboard without any sale is $150, but when it is on sale you can find the keyboard for around $120, which is a no-brainer. If you are watching this video when it is released, there is a sale happening from the 9th to the 16th, so if you are in the market for a new keyboard, it might just be time. If you are someone that was disappointed with the stock Wooting and you just want something higher quality without sacrificing any features, then the Polar 65 might just be the keyboard for you.